You got the record sign on there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Jamie, do you still agree to the consent of this podcast and the release?
Yep, I do.
All right, man, let's take a second here. Welcome back, listeners. Today's show, we're going to talk about fighting, and more specifically, professional fighting, amateur fighting as it pertains to MMA. The man I'm interviewing today is a person I met a long time ago. We were both in the Navy. We were both just guys kind of doing our own thing, trying to find our way in life. And I brought these mats onto the flight deck, and he was just one of those guys standing around watching. Most people don't approach. Most people just kind of say, hey, what you doing, bro? And I was like, what's up, man? You want to roll? And he was like, let's do it. And then from there, just the relationship grew. We moved away and kind of fell apart, but I'm glad that we're talking to each other now. Jamie, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, so just a little bit about me. Like you were saying, my name is Jamie. We ended up meeting in the Navy. So I guess a little bit of background. So prior to the Navy, I kind of grew up wrestling. I actually wrestled out of junior college prior to joining. But then after, halfway through college, I didn't really know what I was going to school for. So I was like, hey, I'll join the Navy. So I ended up joining the Navy. And like he was saying, I ended up getting sent to the ship. It's called the USS Rodney M. Davis. I had no idea what was going to happen there. So I ended up meeting the ship when we were on deployment. And that's when, I ran into him. I saw him on the flight deck. We were rolling, doing some jiu-jitsu. I didn't really know what I was doing, but it was fun. So from there, we actually got back from deployment, and I started at this gym called Charlie's Combat Club, which is across the street from yeah, exactly. It was across the street from the Navy base. So I figured it was close. I'll check it out. So I was actually training there for about 2 to 3 weeks max, maybe. And I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. I want to fight. And then one day, I think there was like a last minute fallout for a fight, like on a local show. It was an amateur show. And they just asked me, like, hey, do you want to step in? And I was like, oh, okay. I remember I was like, oh, I actually went to go talk to him to see kind of what the deal was. I was like, oh, you think I should take a fight? You're like, hell yeah, definitely. But you're like, can you get me in my corner? I was like, I don't know, as I talked to the coaches. But anyway, so I had that fight, and then the rest was kind of history.
Yeah.
From there, I kind of started training and taking it a little bit more serious, taking fights periodically. Long story short, I ended up getting out of the Navy. I moved down to San Diego. From here, I kind of took my training to another level. There's a lot of gyms out here. A lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, super popular. So it kind of just really put me around the people I really need to be around. That they're tough guys, and just kind of been training on and off ever since. That's really kind of the gist of my MMA career. And then here I am right now, still doing MMA. I've taken a break here and there, but I actually have a fight coming up August 1st, so I'm getting back in the mix.
Nice, man. And now you're doing my podcast, Blanco's Conversations.
There you go, Blanco's Conversations. Let's go.
There you go, man. So that's it, man. My format is just that, it's just a conversation. So I would like to start with because I love wrestlers, man. I just love. I tell people, if I'm creating the ultimate fighter for like MMA, I start off with wrestling. That's the base, man. So for you, like, how early did you start wrestling?
So I started wrestling. Actually, there was a flyer. I was in elementary school, and there was a flyer. I think it was for Hawks Wrestling or something. And my dad, he kind of wrestled in high school a little bit, and we used to just, wrestle around the house like every kid does.
Right.
And I showed him the flyer, and I was like, hey, I want to do some wrestling. And then he ended up taking me to practice. I was in 4th grade. I was about 8 years old, maybe 9. I don't know. And then I just was going to practice and just started wrestling. And I wrestled pretty much every year until school, or I was in.
You joined the Navy, pretty much.
Exactly. So I've been wrestling my whole entire life, and I definitely think it's the best base for sure for MMA. Because I think they're just tougher overall, and you just kind of learn to be around the competition. Because jiu-jitsu is good and everything. I think it's definitely necessary, but I think for wrestling, you're bred from competition from day one. Mm-hmm. Not everybody who does jiu-jitsu competes, but pretty much everyone who wrestles, they compete on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's a different thing. That's the thing. What's one of the things I like about wrestling? It's like the mentality of the wrestler is like, you're going to grind, man. It's going to suck. It's going to be hard, but you're going to fucking grind. And I think to be an MMA fighter, because professional MMA fighter, that lifestyle is a grind, because you have to train boxing, kickboxing, judo, wrestling. You got to work out. You got to lift weights. You got to have nutrition. You got to cut to make weight. If you don't start off as a grinder, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then try to later on start to grind, it's just so much harder, man. But
That's
but did
self-esteem.
you take to wrestling right away? Was it
I
like
loved
something
it.
you're just good at?
Actually, wrestling right away. I loved it. I mean, I was actually pretty good at it right away. I don't want to say, but I did like it. I liked going to practice. I thought it was
Okay.
fun. At first, it wasn't really like super. It wasn't like stressful. It was just something fun I was doing when I was a kid. I think
Right.
as I got older, there's more pressure on you. It gets a little more stressful. It's just kind of what happens.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I've always just loved doing it.
So in high
Even
school, how'd you do? Like what weight class were you in?
in high school, so things were a little different in high school. In high school, I originally wrestled my freshman year, 103 pounds. I was very small. I was like the smallest kid growing up my whole life. And then I wrestled 112 was my sophomore year, and that was when I moved to Sacramento, California. And the competition was way steeper than it was in Texas.
Oh wow.
I think just Northern California overall has just a lot of wrestlers.
I never would have thought that, man.
Yeah, no, but also the way they kind of set it up. So in Texas, they have like, I don't know what they call it, maybe like it's not D1, D2, D3, but however high school would break up, like 4A, 5A, something like that. So in California for wrestling, it's a free for all. It doesn't matter, if your school's big, small. So if you're the state champ, you're the freaking state champ.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Whereas like other states
so.
in like football and stuff, they categorize it based on how big your school is.
Yeah. It's just open. Everyone just competes against everybody.
Everybody competes everybody. So I think when I moved there my sophomore year, it was kind of all right, but I didn't do bad. I always had like a really good record, but I didn't really get, I don't think, pretty good. I mean, I was always good, but I don't think I didn't really do anything spectacular. Like my senior year, I was like ranked, I was honorable mentioned in state, and I didn't even end up going to state just because of the draw I got, in the what we call it section at the times. But it's, I mean, it's all good, because I'm here now. So
yeah. But
whatever.
I think that having that mentality, like you were saying, that I'm in this sport, is not just that you're doing it. Like it's great to just do it for fun. But if you're going to take it to another level where it becomes a business, it becomes a career, having that foundation that like, okay, I got to make this weight for this weight class. I got to compete against these people, beat these people. It's you set a path for yourself where there's all these obstacles, right? That obstacle is a man trying to take you out, because he's got the same thing that you're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, exactly. So it's like, you're not going to go in there kind of like, I'm going to go through practice day. Like, okay, that's kind of stuff that gets you hurt, like this is a serious business. Yeah. So you just got to have that. You just got to be competitive. Like we were saying, jiu-jitsu, you can do it, have fun, cool. But you better go in there ready to fight for fighting.
Yeah. I mean, I think the difference is like, if you were a track guy, right, and you were jumping hurdles, yeah, that's an obstacle. But in fighting, it's like the obstacle, the hurdle's trying to hurt you. It's trying to like jump out and grab you. It's just a completely thing, man. It's man versus man.
Well, exactly. Like when you're tired, like if you're running, you kind of slow down a little bit, right? But if you're tired in a fight, you're like I'm tired, but like you can't let up. You can't let up on the gas, because you let up on the gas, you could get knocked out. And that's like it's trying to stay focused while you're tired, and knowing that like the whole time in your head, at least every time I fight, I'm always like keep going. Like, yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I don't want to be there. You know what I mean? But I was like, you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
It's just have to do. Like, you just got to go, make it through this.
Yeah. Well, in my experience, man, I've never seen you tired. I don't know what that is.
Maybe it's a recent thing. I don't know. I've been tired a lot in training lately.
Yeah.
On my 3 days, I feel like, because in the amateur level, I was just a better wrestler than everybody, so I was just controlled and no problem. Yeah. But now that I'm on the next level, everybody's tough. Everyone's a good wrestler. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's about finding that thing to give you the advantage too, I think, at that level, because like you said, everyone's a great athlete. Everyone has good genetics. Everyone's got a great training team. It's like, what's that thing that's going to set you apart? And a lot of times it's that mentality. Like, what are you willing to do that the other person isn't willing to do?
Exactly. That's really what it all is. The whole fight, it's all mental, I think what's the quote is like training is 90% mental, or 90% physical, 10% mental, but the fighting is 90% mental, 10% physical. I think I read something.
Yeah.
That.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Because while you're training, it's like you got to get it all in. You got to do that. But when the fight comes, man, if you're not there mentally.
Yeah, I mean, you see guys like that in the UFC in the cage. You're like, oh, some days they show up and they're just on point. Yeah. Other times they're just going through the motions. So,
I would say Conor McGregor is like that, man. I would say as a fighter, he's a good fighter, but maybe I'm just throwing this out there. Maybe he's a 7 as a fighter, but after he messes with you mentally, when he steps into the ring, he went from a 7 to like at least a 9. You know what I mean? He just stepped his game up, man.
Yeah, no. He has the confidence, and that's what's half the fighting is, you know? If you don't have the confidence, you basically lost before you got in there.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, at least.
So explain to me, if you will, you're that young guy. I guess you said you wrestled at junior college.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you take the decision to go into the Navy?
I don't know, man. I was just going to college. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just doing that because that's what I was supposed to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, oh, you're out of high school. And they expect these 18-year-old kids to make these life decisions. I'm like, I'm just going to school because I don't know, because I was told that was the right thing.
Yeah.
So I was just going. And then, you know, one day I think I was just like, you know, I want to just do something different. And then I joined the Navy. And then, you know, first day I showed up at boot camp, I was like, what the fuck did I do? That was the I walked in. I was like, what the hell was I thinking, you know?
Yeah.
It actually worked out, I think, especially for me, because I was kind of a knucklehead, you know? I wasn't like a bad kid, but I just feel like a little structure was good for me specifically.
Yeah.
So, and it gave me some of that, you know?
Yeah. I felt, I didn't think you were a knucklehead. You definitely were a young guy that wanted to have fun. I felt like you had like a lot of energy and you didn't know where to put it. You know what I mean? And I think the fight game really helped you out with that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you on that. I've actually met a lot of people like now that I'm a little bit older. Like, yeah, you're way more calm than I remember. I was like, what was I doing? Like bouncing off the walls? Like, I don't know.
Kind of word, dude. Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, yeah. I remember like back when I think you kind of were part of it. We were like wrestling around in the reefer decks and then berthing and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's how it is in the Navy, man. You know, in the lounge, in the berthing, people just start getting on it. You know what I mean?
You just become a professional bullshitter, you know? And you're just having fun and just bullshitting all day with the other young guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Now that I'm in the Army, it's different because I thought the Army would be a lot more of that. I feel like there's a lot more in the Navy for some reason. A lot more like guys just going at it together in the berthings. You know what I mean? Because
really?
you see it in the Army here once in a while. You'll get some guys. It's not like it doesn't happen. But I remember in the Navy, I would walk into the lounge and there'd be like 20 motherfuckers just all on top of each other going fucking nuts. And I'd just be like, okay, I'm out of here. Fuck.
This is like trouble.
Yeah, this is crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because you're on that ship and there's really nothing.
Nothing to fucking do, dude.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you got your small little rack. Can't even sit up in it without hitting your head on the ceiling.
It's a coffin, basically, what I tell people.
Yeah.
Yeah. A 3-sided or whatever, 5-sided coffin that you got.
Like rack, you get stuck in there.
Yeah, definitely. So take me to the point where you meet me on the flight deck, man. What are you thinking that day when you see me out there?
All right. So I remember like on the flight deck, I think you were rolling around with, his name was Ronnie. Remember him?
Oh yeah, Ronnie. Shout out to Ronnie.
You were with Ronnie, and then I think there was a couple guys from the from the helicopter crew or whatever. Mm-hmm. They were out there. You were rolling with them, and I was like, I already knew in the back of my head, like, shit, whatever. I wrestled in college. Like, I got these fools. They don't even know what's about to happen. So I was kind of like, oh yeah, can I hop in and roll? And then I rolled, and I think some people were like, what the hell? How's this kid so like strong and good?
Yeah.
It's because I wrestled a little bit in college. I remember one time we were actually on the flight deck and just like one of the air deck guys. I put him in a Kimura. He got super mad. He's like, I cranked it hard, but no, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, you know, something I can relate to, something to take me off, you know, that's not on the ship really, or my mind off the ship.
Yeah.
But no, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. You definitely had that wrestler's mentality when everyone else was kind of like, hey, relax, man. Everyone else was kind of like a surfer or a stoner, man. Everyone was kind of like, yo, just take it easy, chill. And you were like, go, 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 go.
Yeah, I mean, we're competing, you know. We're out there, you're gonna try to rip my arm off.
Yeah. That's how you were, man.
Yeah, no. And then when we got back, I went to Charlie's Combat Club, and that was it.
Yeah.
She wrote.
Tell me about your experience there. Tell me about Charlie's and getting into MMA. Because from there, before, I mean, obviously you had that great pedigree of wrestling. On deployment, I don't know when exactly we met on deployment. Let's say 5-6 months or something like that into deployment. We started doing jiu-jitsu on the flight deck. But I mean, just having jiu-jitsu and just having wrestling is good. Don't get me wrong. Like you can win fights like that. But I'm sure when you went there, there's still a lot more things you had to learn when you got there.
Yeah, no. I remember that. So when I went to Charlie's Combat Club, like I would do great during jiu-jitsu class and, you know, grappling class, no problem. A lot of wrestlers right from the get-go, they have good control. and they're good at defending chokes and things like that. So that really wasn't the problem. But I remember one of the times that was a big problem is when I was sparring with, I don't know if you remember the guy, Chris Garcia.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So one of the big eye-opening things, we're kind of sparring, and I think I was going way hard probably because I was a new guy.
Yeah.
That's what happens. I was a new guy, probably super hard punches. Yeah. And I didn't really know how to check a kick at all, you know, because it takes a long time for your body just to have that natural reaction to check a kick. If anybody doesn't know what checking a kick is basically where you pull your shin up and it matches his shin so it doesn't, either A, hit you in the thigh or a calf. Mm-hmm. So basically what happens, we were sparring and he was just kicking my legs one after another. And I was super heavy on the foot. And I just remember I had to stop sparring, So it was very eye-opening to me, damn, I don't know. I could just get cleaned up out here by the right guy. I thought I was some tough guy, wrestled, whatever, that's all I needed. But no, that was far from the case. And I actually think it took me probably a few years to really develop my striking skills where I was really confident where I'd even go to that when I fight.
Yeah, if people don't know, wrestlers, I would say probably boxers too. If you watch Floyd Mayweather, stuff like that, like you said, they're real heavy on the front foot. Mm-hmm. And a Thai guy, people who knows kickboxing, is gonna take that leg out of you, and then you're just.
And you don't even know. If you haven't been in the leg, let somebody that knows how to kick you one time.
Oh God,
it hurts.
Yeah, there was a female there. I forgot her name, man. She was a kickboxer before she got there. And we were just kind of fooling around, going 50%. She kicked me. I wanted to cry, man. I wanted to get out.
You're you're
yeah. I was oh man, there's a bunch of guys here right now. I'd be crying, man.
And you're just trying to tough out the round, but really, you just it just stops you in your tracks for anything. You're just always thinking about that the whole time.
Yeah.
But no, I think that was a big eye opener moment at Charlie's. I didn't realize how good actually a coach Charlie was until I left. He was just all around a good coach and a good guy.
Yeah.
Later on in the game, I kind of started realizing you're kind of on your own, So
yeah, I didn't get to talk to him too much because he was a real busy guy. But I think I rolled with him one time he was in there, and God, he was strong, man. I was like, Jesus. And he wasn't even training that much at that time,
No, I think he was kind of done. I mean, he's already done with his fighting and really jiu-jitsu. He would just hop in every now and then. But I remember he used to get me in all sorts of weird catch wrestling, submissions, shoulder locks and some weird stuff.
Yeah,
but he was good. I think he went to the
Abu
Dhabi actually.
Yeah, I think he lost to Hoyler Gracie.
Yeah, something like that. Because I remember, because I trained here in San Diego with somebody named Barry Yoshida. I'm sure you know who he is. Mm-hmm. I was telling him, I was like, I didn't know Charlie was big in the grappling game. He was like, oh yeah, I know Charlie Pearson. He was at the Abu Dhabi when I was there or whatever. Fought one of these guys or whatever. Yeah. So, he was legit, is what I was saying.
Yeah, exactly. Inside the game, people know him, but people outside probably don't know him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He definitely had credentials, man. Mm-hmm. He was good,
sure.
Yeah. So again, let's switch the conversation up a little bit because I love this topic, talking to people, especially people who've never fought before. They always have these ideas about stuff. But yeah, let's create the perfect MMA guy. I love GSP. I think what GSP did. He didn't start off as a wrestler, which is what it was kind of amazing about him. Mm-hmm. But, a lot of fans didn't like his style. But I'm like, he's winning, dude. You know what I mean? And I feel that why I like wrestling so much is because they deal with takedowns, right? If you're so good at taking people down and preventing yourself from being taken down, it's like any kind of fighting. It's like war, dude. You're basically dictating the battlefield. Mm-hmm. Okay, your hands are nice. Well, I'm going to take your hands away from you. I'm going to take you down. Oh, saying you're a really strong wrestler, so you want to take me down a wrestler? I'm not going to let you wrestle. I'm not going to let you take me down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's for me, the benefit of being a strong wrestler in MMA.
Yeah, you can kind of dictate where the fight's going to go if you're that, Yeah, but a lot of people do complain about it. They're like, oh, he just took me down. Like, okay, well, it was coming. If you're the better fighter all around this MMA, stuff it,
Yeah.
If he's good enough to control you the whole time you can't even pop back up, that's your problem, not that guy's,
Yeah. And in a way, it's kind of a disadvantage for the wrestler because think about it. Every time you take someone down, that clock is clicking in your head because the referee's going to stop it and bring you guys up if he could stall it. But in stand-up, there is you could stall as much as you want standing up.
Yeah, you can just parry, kind of sit back, not even in range.
Yeah.
Stop. You might get a couple boos, but that's about it.
Yeah, you get the boos. Yeah, Dana White might fuck up your contract or something. I don't know.
whatever it may be. Yeah. But no, for sure. I think the perfect fighter for me, if I had to pick, maybe because these are the guys I've ran into, at least in the gym training, is somebody that is a really good wrestler, like you're saying, has good wrestling defense, but they don't really use their wrestling. They just use it to dictate where it's at if they want to stuff shots.
Right.
But they're really good kickboxing. There's this guy I trained with, Nick Barnes, and when I first started training with him, it would just used to demoralize me.
Wow.
Because he would just kind of like pick me apart standing up, and then I would go like, all right, fuck, I'm going to my wrestling, I'm going to take him down. And then he was a champ too, and wow. I got to take him down. Maybe if I did get him down, awesome, but he would pop right back up. And by that time, I'm like gassed as hell from trying to hold him down, and then he's standing up, he's all fresh, just ready to go. So that's, I think, the best combo. Somebody has good striking and then just can stuff takedowns. They don't necessarily have to wrestle the whole time, but they can stuff them.
That sounds like Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell was like that. He would want to knock you out, stand up, but you couldn't take him down.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of wrestlers don't even really wrestle when they're doing MMA anymore.
No.
Like what, Daniel Cormier is like an Olympian? When is he wrestling?
I had no idea, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So again, with DC, man, I would have liked to have seen him. I feel like he should have used his wrestling more against John Jones, but that's easy for me to say because John Jones is a good wrestler too. He's probably like, nah, you ain't having that.
Yeah, exactly. For all you know, he touched him, and right, you could tell when he touched someone right away, like, oh no, this is just because if I can't control him, it's gonna fuck the whole flow of the fight. You gotta adapt.
Yeah. Tell me about that. Tell us about that. How do you know, like when you touch somebody, what are you feeling? What's going through your head, man?
You just feel that they have a solid base and they're strong. Right when you touch somebody, I'm sure you do in jiu-jitsu too. You touch somebody, oh, he's solid,
Yeah.
Or with their movement right away, you can just tell. It's just like it's almost like an instinct.
Yeah.
You just know. And it's tough.
What do you do at that point? So you grab the guy while you're like in a clinch and you're like, oh wow, this guy's base is strong, he's strong. What's the next move?
I mean, my next thing is I'm still gonna kind of, I'm gonna feel it out, and if I feel like I can get something, I'm gonna take it. Right. I'm not gonna just let go. Oh no, I can't do that. But again, but if I'm not gonna waste all my energy, like all my eggs in one basket. I'll be like, okay, he's strong. I can tell he's strong. Let's see if I can do something, or I can feel it out, and I'll start attacking it. And if not, then I'll just be like, okay, maybe I gotta wait for the right opportunity and catch him off guard.
Yeah. How much game prep do you do? Like, do you watch a lot of film? Do you strategize on, or do you just have the same game plan every time? I'm going to go in there, I'm going to take them down, I'm going to pound them out.
To be honest, man, I feel like I used to be like, oh, that was my game plan, but like I just kind of go in there, I train the best I can and everything I can, because I honestly don't think like the game plan kind of goes out the window, Like for instance, I had a fight one time, I was like, I'll just take this guy down. But I couldn't take the guy down. Game plan was out the window. Yeah. I had to stand with the guy the whole time, So I think as an MMA guy, as a martial artist, you need to do everything. Don't just be specialized. And if that doesn't work out, you're up the creek without a paddle, and it's gonna be a long fight.
Yeah,
long fight.
That's the uniqueness, I think, though, about MMA. It's like I was saying before, the grind. Like you have to train so many different things. And not an expert in all those things. I think at least one or two of those you need to be an expert, but you got to be strong in the other things. And that's like, what other sport is like that? Like if you play football, you don't got to know anything about basketball or baseball. You know what I mean? Like you just need to be good at football.
Yeah, no, some of the best MMA guys, they're not world champions at jiu-jitsu. They're not world champion kickboxers. They never won state wrestling or whatever, but they're good at all of them. You know what I mean? So they can go wherever you need to go. And I think those are the best MMA guys, really, to be honest.
Yeah. So take me through your camp, man. How does this start? How do you get a fight first? Like walk me through that.
So I guess I'll kind of take it back to the fight I got coming up. How's it going? Okay. So right now I work a full-time job. I'm actually a PA. So I don't know if you guys know what that is. That's a physician assistant.
Okay. Yeah.
So we basically go to medical school without a residency. So I have a master's degree in PA studies or whatever.
Nice.
So I work at a pain management clinic, basically regular hours. But so basically how mine is, I wake up in the morning, I go to work, I got to be at work by 8. From 8 to 11, I have patients. But I have 11 to 1 off. So from 11 to 1, I go to the gym. The gym's across the street. I kind of set all this up like that.
Yeah, you did.
So yeah, exactly. So I go over there, I train to about 11 to 1. I'm usually maybe 10, 15 minutes late sometimes back to the office, but by then they haven't checked the patients. So our schedule kind of consists of, it rotates throughout the week from our team training, because we do other training that's not with the team, but 11 to 1 is the team training. So Monday, a typical thing, we'll do some takedowns with wrestlers. So shoe boxing typically is what we do on Monday.
Okay.
Tuesday, we typically do kickboxing and drills. Sometimes we'll have some movement at the end. Okay. Wednesday, we do a drill day it's kind of like a jiu-jitsu type drill day where we'll do positioning. Like for instance, someone will start in half mat or half guard, and then you do a round
situational training. Yeah,
exactly. We'll do situational stuff. Or if there's a specific thing coming up, maybe we'll concentrate. Like say you have an opponent coming up that for sure loves taking the back and he does that. Kind of focus more rounds on that. Right. But that's a live day. And then Thursday, Thursday we kind of switch around. Sometimes we do kickboxing. Sometimes we'll do mitts. It just really depends. But we kind of make it more personalized for that person. Okay. And then Friday, sparring. It's guaranteed sparring. Okay. Full sparring, small gloves. So that's what we do. But I try to at least work out, twice a day. Sometimes I'll throw in 3. Sometimes, so I do that 11 to 1. I go back to work. I get done with work. I come home and I try to do either some running or sprinting on the day. So I alternate. So I'll go for a long run, 3 to 5 miles, nothing crazy. I'm not trying to really get my cardio super high. I'm not going as hard as I can. Okay. And then the next day for my cardio, I'll be doing sprints. So I have an assault bike. Anybody doesn't know what that is? That's that fan bike. You see all the ones on, these YouTube videos.
CrossFit gyms and stuff like that. Yeah.
I do sprint workouts. And I try to imitate the fight. So I'll do interval type trainings. Like I'll do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And I'll do that just a little bit over a round. And a round's about 5 minutes. Okay. I try to do a few rounds of those to mimic the fight, because in a fight, you're typically kind of on the gas, relax, on the gas, relax. It's very
stop, go, right.
Exactly. So I try to imitate that and do that. And then again, so the next day I'll do long distance running, but I try to do 2 weightlifting sessions a week with the days of my long distance running. I try to space out the sprints because you need to recover for them. Okay. So by the end of the week on a Friday on sparring day, I'm usually pretty beat up and tired and sore. But the reason I like doing it like that is because I think that's what you need. You need the mental toughness and fortitude. Like I don't want to go into a fucking round, or I don't want to spar. So that's the reason I like doing it like that. And then I try to at least do 5 to 6 full sparring rounds when I do sparring. And then I try to always do just one extra that when I'm really tired, just because I want to feel what it's like to be like.
You want to get used to that. You want to get used to that, to know that you could push past that.
You have to, like I was saying, like half the fight's mental, at the end. So that's what I tried. I try to throw myself in the fire when I'm very uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. And I'm like, all right, let's just go, like I might get beat up, but I think that's what you need to do if you want to be successful in fighting.
Yeah, definitely.
I train a little all over the place, but the premise is I work out with the team 5 days a week. We do different stuff, and I alternate sprinting and long distance running with some weight training in between.
Yeah. And working a full-time job, man, that's hard, man. And you got a girlfriend too, right?
Yeah, I got to go live with her. I actually bought a condo too, so we've been remodeling it. So it's been doing that on the side. So no, I've been pretty busy, but I think it's good for me, because I'm the type of person, if I'm just sitting around doing nothing, I just am getting into trouble and
bad things happen.
You know what I mean? I'm just one of the people, like I'm going balls to the walls. I'm over here fighting in a cage. When I'm not fighting in a cage, I'm going balls to the walls, whether it's at the bar or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? It's just my behavior. It's like my personality.
Yeah. So let's go into that aspect of everything, which is like, when you're training, like you explained that, what do you do with your training? What during the camp, right? Like with the build up, like actually, how long is the camp? You would say, how long do you like to train for?
About 8 weeks. So a lot of times you know there's a show coming up. So you either if it's a local show. I kind of have a manager, because my coach he has a manager, and I kind of work through him. Right. So I'll reach out to him and say, hey, I know there's a card coming up here. What's the situation? You think you can get me on this card? Usually I can get you on the card, but you don't hear the definitive answer for a few weeks. Yeah, because they have to find a fighter for you, right? They have to find a fighter for you. They got to contact the show. It's just like it's kind of a process. So if it's like a bit like a nicer show, like this one I'm doing is Cage Warriors. They air on UFC Fight Pass. It's a pretty good show. I know weeks out in advance. I'll know. Nice. This one I knew 8 weeks out. But sometimes there's a local show around here called Gladiator Challenge. You won't hear anything till 3 weeks before the fight, but you're assuming you're going to be on the card, right? So you're training if you're going to be on the card, but you don't even know. Sometimes your opponent switches right at the end.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So like, you don't even know. Like I've had opponents switch the day before. I'm like, okay, well, this guy has 15 fights. This is my second pro fight. What the fuck, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got my friends and family going. So I'm like, you know what, whatever, let's just do this. So that's kind of it, especially in the beginning of your career. It's like a lot of
Yeah.
it's kind of just a crapshoot, you know. Obviously, when you're in the UFC and stuff, you know what's going on.
Yeah. You gotta be flexible. You gotta be willing to just go if it's that's what you really want to do. So it's a process. What do you do like to relax? What's your diet like? Let's go into some other things. You know what I mean?
So, what do I typically do to relax?
Are you drinking any alcohol at all during camp?
No, I don't. No, especially when I get closer. Say if I don't know, say I'm 2 months out, I'll have a few drinks or whatever. But my hard stop for like all like the bullshit is a little over a month.
Okay.
Like hard stop. That's why it was hard this year because we had July 4th. You know, everyone had a barbecue.
Yeah.
4-day weekend. Everyone's partying. Everyone's barbecuing. Everyone's doing all this, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, going to these barbecues with my girlfriend,
eating salad.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, I might be eating a little too many ribs. That's like the worst I got, but I'm not drinking. I'm not eating cake. I'm not, you know what I mean? Eating all that good stuff.
So what's your diet like? Explain that to me.
So typically in the morning, I wake up. The premise of my diet is I try to keep my protein high, but my calories low. Because what I've made the mistake in the past is I just kept my calories low, not really focusing on my protein. And I'm trying to lose the weight. And what I've done, I lost the weight, but I was basically just the same version of myself, like body fat percentage wise, but just smaller. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So say you're pudgy and you're 180 pounds and you want to get down to 55, you're still pudgy, but you're just 155 pounds.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You're the
same
so, body structure. Yeah. So what I try to do is I try to keep my protein high. And what I mean by that is I try to have a gram of protein per body weight.
Okay.
And I still am in a calorie deficit, about 300 calories or so. But the reason I do that is because instead of my body pulling from protein or muscle for fuel, it just pulls from the fat. Majority. Obviously, it's going to pull a little bit more.
Okay, yeah.
So when I do cut down now, I'll be a more lean version of myself at that weight. So I have more muscle overall.
So you're trying to keep muscle, preserve as much muscle as you can.
And if you don't keep your protein up, you're gonna lose weight, but you're gonna lose muscle too. Is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So typically in the morning, I'll wake up. I try to make like a smoothie, and I'll put some protein in there. I try to keep my carbs down on my protein. I think my protein actually has 0 carbs on it. So I'll put protein in there. I put some mixed berries in there. I usually put some spinach in there. And I put like a teaspoon of peanut butter just because I like peanut butter.
It's the flavor.
Or whatever. Yeah, exactly. I usually just have that, and then right before training, sometimes I'll have a protein bar if I'm hungry.
Right.
And then after training, I kind of have like a bigger meal. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times my meal after training, I try to have some carbs incorporated in that. So I'll have some like rice and chicken, some, basic stuff like that.
Right. That's because you expended a lot of energy, so you want to replace that, right?
Exactly. And then the reason I do the fruits and stuff in the morning, because it's kind of right before training, and it's more of a simple type sugar, so your body starts processing it faster. Mm-hmm. And the reason I try to have at least in my theory, I'm pretty sure it is. And the reason I have like rice and a more starchy kind of carb after training is because I'm trying to replenish those muscles that are lost. And I don't need them. I don't need the energy right away.
Okay.
That's the thought process behind it. Right. Yeah, I'm sure you can get more.
I've got no idea. I'm not a nutritionist. Sounds good to me, man.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, hopefully nobody on this listening to this is a nutritionist.
All the comments people like, "You're an idiot. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, the guys doesn't know his ass from his elbow. But yeah, so I eat that after lunch, and then I come home. I usually try to, again, have another protein bar, and then at nighttime, I kind of indulge the most, depending on what my girlfriend wants to make for dinner. Okay. I've been lately my guilty pleasure, quote unquote, has been like chili, but with turkey. Turkey chili with some beans. It's actually not that bad.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of been. I don't know why I've been on that lately. But
yeah.
That's kind of just an outline of my diet.
Okay, so that's the diet part. What about what do you do to relax, to unwind? Or actually, more importantly, because it's interesting that you're in pain management, because I think that's perfect for the sport that you're in. Recovery, what people do saunas, people do ice baths, massages. How do you keep your body together, man? Because training fucking beats you up.
To be honest, man, what I should do and what I do is completely different.
Okay, well, tell me what you should do.
What I should be doing is I think I should be doing ice baths after sparring on Fridays. We used to do those, and I thought they had tremendous benefits.
Nice.
Because I think like the theory is you did ice baths, vasoconstricts, and then as soon as you're out of the ice bath, vasodilates and all the blood rushes, and the blood has the nutrients to heal your bodies.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's the basis behind the ice bath.
Okay.
That's what I should be doing. I think I should be doing some more ice baths, and then obviously I think I should do some more sauna stuff, sauna time as well.
Okay.
I don't really know too much about the sauna stuff, but I know when I do go into it, I don't feel as tight. My muscles aren't as achy the next day. So, in a perfect world, I would hit the sauna probably twice a week and ice baths on Friday after sparring immediately.
Yeah, I read a book. I think I might have told you guys about it. I think I read it when I was on the ship, and me, you, and Ron used to train all the time. It was called About Fighting or something like that. And the guy went to Thailand. You know, he trained with some of the top guys out there. And what I found interesting was that they train twice a day. They train like in the morning. They kind of have like a siesta, a little break. Excuse me. And then they train again. And one thing I realized about it that I thought was great is that when they spar, they spar pretty much every day, kind of like jujitsu, but it's light. It's kind of like, you know, hey, tap, tap, tap. You know what I mean? It's sort of like you getting used to like the distance. Hey, you're too close. Tap, I tap you. You know, working on your mechanics. It's not going hard all the time. That was one thing that I thought was very interesting that I think a lot of fighters could learn from that. But the other thing was that I think in midday, like that little break, they get into a hot bath, not the ice or the sauna, but a hot bath to sort of like, I guess, loosen up the muscles or something. You know anyone who does anything like that?
I mean, not that I know on a regular basis. I know some people sometimes hit the sauna after training, but or there's like a big thing that right now they're doing that cryotherapy. I know there's a couple gyms around here that just have that part of their thing, and so they'll just hop in and do it. Like there's a UFC Fit down here in San Diego, and I know they have all that stuff, and a lot of the guys they just go there too.
Yeah, I heard the ice bath is better than that. I mean, that's just stuff that I heard.
Yeah.
But
I've never done one of those cryotherapy. I mean, I'm sure it looks pretty fancy, you know. So
some futuristic shit.
Wrong with that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but what do you think about? Okay.
I was gonna say, to take it back to what you were saying about like the playful sparring, almost that thing.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to get into.
Yeah, exactly. On our drill days, so like I said, we do kickboxing. We usually do light movement at the end, and I think those are the most beneficial because you're not tense. You can actually like learn, try things, and do things, and it's fun. You know what I mean? And it's not like it's really kind of a no pressure situation. I think that's actually where you get better, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think that jiu-jitsu a while ago, a long time, let's say at least 20 years ago, was more like that, was more like, hey, just kind of like flowing and stuff like that. And a lot of the guys weren't very athletic, weren't going to the gyms and stuff like that. But once like the sport blew up and a bunch of wrestlers got into it and people want to do MMA, it's like hard every day. And I'm like, Jesus, man, my body is killing me, man.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, that's how I kind of feel right now. Like I go to jiu-jitsu still, and like sometimes I like to just roll with certain people because they're just chilling and rolling, and I'm getting better. But like it's like I got a target on my back though because I was he just MMA.
Did you get your black belt? Oh, you got your brown belt? Okay.
I'm like, yeah. So they'll just kind of
freaking pass me, man. I'm purple, man.
I feel like you're at purple back when I was training with you in Washington.
Probably, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I think Ronnie was actually, that's what it was. But no, I mean, I like just going in there, rolling and flowing and stuff because it's almost not as fun. I see what you're saying. It's like, you just have to go.
Well, I'm just thinking longevity, man. Like, whatever you think or other people who are listening to this think about Floyd Mayweather, the best thing that he ever did is longevity, dude. He picked his fights. He extended as much as he could. He didn't take any damage during a fight. I think in the fight game, the worst comment or the worst compliment someone could give you is to say, oh, that guy's got a strong chin. It's not a compliment, dude. It means that they've seen you get whacked a whole bunch of times and you took it, which is great. That's great that you took it, but you shouldn't have gotten whacked, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess I never really thought about it like that. Like you're basically eating a bunch of punches because you're taking a lot of damage. So basically you're getting beat up.
Yeah, and eventually that's going to catch up to you. Any fighter that you saw that people knew him as, oh, he had a strong chin, tell me how strong his chin is 5 years later down the career.
Yeah, you see those people's career, they get knocked out repeatedly, and then they just
with jabs, man. Just like a little jab. You saw it happen to Forrest Whitaker. I think like a little jab A couple of other people, man. I've seen it. Guys with great
Kind
fighters.
of Liddell towards the end.
Chuck Liddell, yeah, Liddell. Sadly, man. Sadly, there's
Yeah.
no way Tito Ortiz should beat Chuck Liddell. There's no reality where that's true, but he beat him the last fight, man.
Some fighters go down like that. It's like,
yeah,
well, it was a good while it lasted, I guess. You know, now you got to take all the problems that come with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's great for the fans. Like if you're the owner of the UFC or whatever these things, those brawls, those fight of the night, the knockout of the night, those are awesome. And, you know, like I said, I bring it back to Money Mayweather. His fights might be boring, but you know what? He's rich as fuck. He's healthy. How many boxers have a long career like him that, you know, when they talk, they're stuttering the whole time, man?
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's the problem with a lot of, I think, at least the old school MMA is it used to be just gym war. And it was just all about being tough. Like I remember when I first went down to this gym in San Diego, I don't know if you remember the guy. There's a lot of tough guys there basically. And they used to have a tryout for the practice, you know, It was like a hard tryout. And like, if you got caught in a submission or something and you tapped, you were off the team and things like that.
Christ, that's
it
stupid.
was like a badge of honor to be on the team, you know, because they were just tough guys. But to my point is we'd be in the gym and we'd be sparring like we're in a real fight. You know what I mean? And then it's just over time, sorry, my sister's got a face.
It's all right.
Over time, it just wears and tears on your body, especially on your brain.
Yep.
And there's no longevity in it. But I think it's kind of opening up now where a lot of people aren't even sparring like that anymore.
That's good.
For the gym, but that used to be like the culture. Like if you watch any of the old school, especially Pride guys, that was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They were just tough.
Yeah.
And pride themselves on it.
All right, man. We're running out of time a little bit here. Let's switch it up, man. Tell me about your personal life, man. What's going on? You said you're a PA, you got a girlfriend. So for people who are interested in like, you know, becoming a fighter, like you guys got to have a personal life too, man. What's things like when you're not fighting?
Okay, yeah. So I guess to take it back that, I mean, everybody always thinks fighters, that's all they do. And they're just kind of knuckleheads, you know? But I mean, look, I'm a PA. I see patients. I treat them. I prescribe medications. I have a graduate degree. So my day-to-day, like I go to work just like most people do. Normal, I try to squeeze in fighting around it, you know? Until you're in the UFC and making Conor McGregor money, that's basically what most guys got to do.
Yeah.
Either it's working at a restaurant, you know, I think a couple people work as firemen in the UFC, just whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go to work like everybody else. I bought a condo with my girlfriend, so I've been on YouTube a lot trying to learn some home improvement stuff. Some good, some bad. You know, I've been doing a lot of drywall lately. God, I don't know how anybody can do that for a living. So my heart goes out to those guys. It's a lot of work. But yeah, that's what I'm just like a normal person.
So what do you do to relax, man, for fun? When you're not training, you're not getting ready for a fight or anything like that. What are you doing?
I mean, today, let's see. Like for instance, I woke up this morning, I went and got a haircut, and then I went up and met up with a couple buddies, went to the beach. I went surfing for a few hours.
Nice.
You know, do
just
things
relax.
to hang out. Exactly. If I'm not in camp, sometimes I'll go meet up with some friends. We'll go, you know, have a few drinks. You know, we'll go hang out at the beach.
A few drinks?
You know.
Don't lie to me, man. I was in the Navy with you. Don't.
You know, maybe probably one too many, but hey, you know, it's kind of part of it, like I was saying earlier. But no, I just hang out. Like for instance, tonight, I don't know what time people are watching this at, but I'm gonna be watching the UFC fights. I'm having people come over. I got some ribs going as we speak. That was actually my alarm that was I think in the background. Nice. So my homie better be changing those ribs because they're at his house. So I just hang out, relax, and do the same stuff normal people do. Yeah. Ride my bike around town, things like that.
All right. So where do you stand? Two last questions. I'm gonna ask you, where do you stand on for pain management? What is it? The pot-based stuff, people smoking pot, people doing the CBD oil. And where do you stand on sex during camp? Because I know back in the old days, it was like, hey, no sex during camp, man. What do you think about those things before we go?
Well, I think CBD, I don't think there's any problem with it. I actually take some CBD oil pretty regularly.
Helpful?
And honestly, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it kind of relaxes me too, because sometimes you're going to sleep at night, you have a fight coming up, your mind's racing, you know?
Yeah.
You're anxious. You know, you'd be crazy not to. You're going to go into a fight. But I take CBD gummies and stuff all the time. I don't really smoke it just because that's not my thing. But I'm nothing against it. Even if you smoke real marijuana, whatever, you know, whatever you have to do to make yourself feel better, that's fine as long as it's not hurting anybody.
Do you do the CBD all the time, or just like when you're in camp towards the end, like when the pressure starts to get a little bit more?
I don't know. I mean, I'll take it all the time. I don't take it on a regular basis, but if I have some, I'll take it. Like, oh yeah, I'll, make me relax before I go to sleep.
Okay.
But
Kind of help you
so
sleep. Okay.
yeah, I think it relaxes me, helps me sleep for sure. I sleep better, I feel like. Now, as far as the pain management we do, so we're an interventional based clinic. So what that means is I do a lot of like joint injections, such as knees, shoulders. Wow. I do some epidurals. People that don't know what that is, that's basically in your spine. Yeah. So we'll do like some steroid, get rid of what we call radiculopathy symptoms, which pain goes in your leg, originating from your spine. So we do a lot of things like that. I don't really do a lot of medication management because I think opiates should be reserved for the short-term type things because your body just gets immune to it and it doesn't really work overall.
Yeah, you build up a tolerance, right? Yeah.
And it just creates problems, and some people aren't even aware that these problems exist. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of them, but I think in the right circumstances, they're obviously not bad, Yeah. But no, I think CBD is a good option.
That's a whole other show, man. We're gonna get into that, man. I'm gonna have to do another show with you about.
I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that. I don't need to begin on that. That's not.
Yeah, so, man. That's awesome, man. Because I think pain management, just for me, like I'm older now, man. I'm 44, and I fought when I was a kid, like street fighting. I would get fucking beat up. I played football later on, jiu-jitsu. Just being in the Navy, like your knees get fucked up, man. You know what I mean? I'm all over.
Yeah, it, man, I got some Navy stuff residual around too, man. So I get it. I can imagine.
Go to VA, man. Make sure you document all that. Go to VA.
I've been talking to the VA, so that's definitely. That's one of your biggest benefits when you get out, for sure.
All right, man. Last thing. What about intercourse during your camp, man? What do you think about that?
I mean, I still do it. I don't know. I don't know what other people do.
Is that not a thing anymore? I thought that was still a thing.
I've heard that, but I haven't heard that in a few years. But it's not something that I know. Or
so none of your coaches have told you like, "Hey, Jamie, you got 2 weeks left, man. Hey, nothing, man."
No, I haven't heard anything. But once you do get a little bit closer, you're not really interested as much because your calories are low, you're beat up,
miserable, huh?
It's like your body wants to, procreate when it's got enough stuff going on, like nutrients and things like that. But if you're beat up, hanged up, you don't have enough nutrients yourself, you're just kind of zoned in on the fight. So the week of the fight, I'm not even thinking about that, at all. But coming up to the fight, no, I go come home, train, see the old lady, I'm feeling it, she's up to it, we get going,
Is your old lady into it? Is she a fighter or?
No. Okay. My girlfriend doesn't know the first thing about fighting. She's this will be her first fight actually watching me. So she's in for a treat. She's gonna be pretty nervous for sure. But no, she doesn't know the first thing about it, especially like when I'm trying to die. She's like, we can have just one piece of cake. I'm like, yeah, but it just adds up. Like, trust me, I know
exactly. Yeah.
Well, listen to your body. You don't have to train today. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. But she's just trying to make me feel better. And then obviously
that's nice.
Yeah, so it's a thought that counts, really, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, Jamie, thank you, man. Awesome. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you having me.